All right, everyone. So Seth Rollins talked about Raw debuting on Netflix. Here's what he said. It's huge. You mentioned Liv and Rhea. They're going to do it for the women's title there. You've got John Cena. Lots of surprises. Tribal combat. Roman Reigns versus Solo. It's going to be huge. This is without a doubt the biggest step forward in the history of our industry. I'm going to read that again. This is without a doubt the biggest step forward in the history of our industry. That's not an understatement. We've off cable for the first time in 30 years, going to streaming, the biggest streaming network on the planet. It's going to be incredible. I'm really excited about this. This is the future of our industry. This is as big as it gets. So look, I know a lot of this is probably PR, BS, but I'm buying it a little bit. I really do think, when you talk about the big moments in history for WWE, over the last 3 decades, you go Raw is war, right? That moment when Raw becomes war and that logo and everything about it. Then the ruthless aggression, right? That ruthless aggression. It's just like you remember that clip, it defined an era. And then the PG era, which people probably don't like. And now we're in a new era, right? You had the Triple H era, what we've had for the past few years, but this feels like the real beginning of it, right? This feels like the Netflix era is going to be where this thing really takes off. And it's like a reset. It's like, every New Year's, we all have our New Year's resolutions. This is going to be a reset for WWE where all the chaos of the last 5 years, all the chaos of what we've seen, all the big transitions, the big merger, right? All of this stuff is now in the past. And what's the future is the product that they're going to put out there. And Netflix offers them so much more than cable could. So obviously Netflix is going to have to deliver in terms of quality, right? Got to make sure that streaming is good because I think people will be pretty upset. I already had got one comment that I replied to in one of the videos that's like, listen, if Netflix streaming doesn't work like the Tyson fight, I'm done with Netflix and I'm not watching. So that's a warning to Netflix and WWE. Listen, if you don't get this thing working, people are going to be mad and they're going to just cancel their Netflix subscription and not watch. I think people will, maybe they'll end up coming back, but people aren't going to be happy with that. So make sure this debut goes smooth. But what Seth is saying, I think is real, right? I think it's the real deal. And if WWE pulls this off, I think they could hit a whole nother level. The Attitude Era will always have a place in my heart. We're never going to see that era again. I don't think this era is going to be that, but this era is going to be its own era, and it's going to be its own. There's going to be a bunch of people, whether it's they just came into wrestling as adults watching it or kids watching it, who view in 20, 30 years this era as their version of the Attitude Era, and that is going to be awesome. And I'm happy that we got this channel. I'm happy that I'm going to be able to watch it, and I hope they deliver, because if they don't deliver, it's going to be one of the more disappointing things in the history of wrestling, in my opinion. Thank you all for watching.